We're going to talk about crying and how crying is not reserved for babies or little children. And that when we grow up, it's very necessary to cry. Because what crying is an outlet for strong emotion. And when our feelings are really strong and deep, they need to express, and you can hear them in our voice. And naturally, like crying arises as a way to let that emotion pour it out, whether it is deep grief or joy. And if we suppress crying, we're suppressing that emotion and repressing it. And that's why the world is where it is right now. From that suppression of feeling, any feeling that is a little stronger, we suppress or repress it instead of giving it a proper expression, which does not mean projection. That's where all the violence in the world comes from. But allowing the feeling to be let out in some way that is physical in a sense, which can be crying, which can be journaling, which can be punching your pillow, which can be physical exercise, um, could be, uh, just being in nature, hugging a tree, uh, hugging another person that can join you in that feeling. And this is how we regulate. And until we learn emotional maturity and sitting with our feelings, sorting them out, processing them, and realize that we're very complex, we can feel so many feelings at once. For example, when you experience a betrayal from a close friend, what it feels like is you feel hurt, so you feel a lot of pain, then you feel angry. How could they do that to me? But then you realize you're actually angry at yourself because it's been happening, you just chose to ignore it. And you kept giving them the benefit of the doubt and another chance after another chance and another chance, and you didn't uphold your boundaries, and you put up with lack of respect because you lacked self-respect in a sense. So you realize that you're not angry at them, you're angry at yourself because you caught that thing like sooner, uh, but you didn't act on it because of the relationship that you've had and the years that you had that relationship and your kind heart and you respecting them. Mm. And because you didn't want to hurt them by telling them, hey, you're hurting me. So there are a lot of mixed emotions, and then you just can go into all kinds of other feelings and sadness that this is ending, and that even if you've been trying to repair the relationship and point out hurtful behavior to them, they're not picking it up, they're not accepting responsibility, and the realization that the relationship has been mostly one-sided. And when you were there for them to cheer them up, to give them courage, it was okay, but they were never there for you to celebrate you, to uh, point out the great things that you're doing and the support that you're actually giving. It begun to be taken for granted, so you feel used, and you feel, just so many things that you feel. But when you take the time to process these emotions instead of projecting them onto them, or beating yourself down for everything, you learn. And you move into the stage of forgiveness after you feel the grief of being hurt, and that the friendship was existing because you were the one supporting it, and that person really betrayed you. So it's like the grief of loss of the part of you that was in that connection, and also the loss of them or the idea of them that you had that turned out to not be the truth of who they really are because you painted a better picture of them, but they showed you their true colors. So you are grieving the loss of that mental construct of them and the loss of the presence in their life, which was always kind of absence. Then you realize, so actually, you're way better off. And you realize, wait a minute, it was always me pouring, but whatever I was pouring into them, I can pour back into myself, and it's my own love. So I don't have to grieve this thing. But there are other things that we need to grieve when we lose somebody who really meant a lot to us, and who poured into us as well. So in any case, what I'm trying to say basically is like when we process complex emotions and we take the time to cry, there's a lot of wisdom that comes through and lessons that we learn. And we see things from a different perspective. And we can also use that energy that we have processed because it's really powerful. Hi, everybody. And use it to fuel our elevation and to fuel our love for life and to fuel our desire for more expansion and whatever it is that we thought that we lost, to fuel our belief that we will encounter it again and actually in a newer form that serves us better. And this is the essence of the constant renewal that we need to undergo, and that psychological death and rebirth, and the essence of a fulfilled life. In the same way that nature goes through seasons, and we have spring, summer, fall, and winter, where we have the new beginning and then bloom and then wilting and rest. It's the same in a person's life. We go through these stages all the time. And sometimes the wilting and the rest are marked very heavily by an external event, the loss of a job, the loss of a loved one, um, the loss of something that meant a lot to us. But that loss is actually the messenger of the new spring if we manage to go through the winter. And the winter is the cave that we fear to enter. It's that dark place where we're alone and hibernating, and not a lot of people can support us through it. And a lot of times the real work is done in complete darkness. Nobody else can meet you in certain places of yourself where you go, and you can enlist the help of a trusted friend, of a therapist. Um, but a lot of times that help comes from some other soul that has gone through a similar thing. So books are really wonderful portals, and friends that can really reach your soul in that winter and help you go through it and make your hibernation easier and worthwhile. And when you go through those portals of grief and deep emotions and you cry your tears and you really feel the depth of that, then you emerge renewed and so much more whole, because once you integrate those deep feelings, when they arise, you can very easily feel them fully, and they don't take you out for years and months and centuries at a time anymore. But because you really have gone deep through the pain of the ancestors and the grief and their anger and all of their strong emotions and the jealousy and the fear, So now, when they arise or you see them arising in somebody else, you can be strong like a fortress, but not because you're suppressing or repressing them and rejecting them, but because you allow them to pass through you, like the storm that they are, like the tornado, like the flood, the tsunami, and you can be calm in that storm and just witness it because you know they're just feelings and they'll pass. And just like the storm renews, you know that they'll bring you something and they can bring you massive destruction, but you know how to rebuild. And maybe you don't even have to rebuild. Maybe everything that they take away from you is stuff that you no longer need. And you can start fresh. And instead of building a mansion, you can build a simple cabin in the woods where you're closer to the elements. And the mansion was that fortress separating you from the world. And the cabin is the home that connects you and makes you feel at home and helps you remember that you're always at home and connected to all there is. When you're connected to yourself, when no feeling is a stranger, when you can meet everybody and be with them, like really sit with them in those feelings, because you've been there too. And that's the basis of true connection and intimacy. And that's the basis of being a whole person. And that's the basis of being truly human and divine. And one with all there is, because we all experience the same feelings. And if we deny our grief and anger and jealousy and envy and fear and frustration, then we deny the depth of our joy, of our love, of our peace, of our connection and intimacy and bliss. So feel your feelings to the depth of them, find the proper expression. Art has been invaluable for me. So much of my art has been born actually of very, very deep grief. And through the art, I've been able to process it and turn it into beauty. So take those ashes and use them as a fertilizer for your beautiful garden that you are curating, planting, weeding out every day, the garden of your life where you choose what seeds are going to take root and which ones need to be uprooted, and how to arrange the flowers and how to fertilize them with your tears, with your pain, with your grief, which are normal to experience in daily living. And when you are able to walk through life fully feeling your feelings and not being afraid to the depth of them anymore, whichever they are, without judging them good and bad, that's when you're truly alive. And that's when every day feels like a whole life. And that's when you can go to bed completely fulfilled and sing praises to the beloved, because everyone is the beloved and everyone is an expression of God. And you were able to be with everybody that you met at the space where they were. And you get to choose if somebody's in deep grief and you've done your fair share of processing, you don't have to hold their hand through it. But even one glance, even that one moment of being with them in that feeling is enough to make them feel you are not alone. And we're never alone. And nature is also wonderful to process deep feelings because nature always accepts us as we are and doesn't demand of us to be other way. And don't cry, don't be sad because I'm leaving. Don't be, it's like, no, be sad. Be whatever you are feeling right now. Allow it to move through you. Don't be consumed by it. And remember that it's just a feeling, it's just a moment, it will pass through. But allow the fire of it to really burn what no longer serves. so you can truly emerge into the spring. So, men, women, children, I don't care your age, it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel, and it's okay to share because through sharing, we learn and grow. And it's time for us to mature emotionally and spiritually. And you cannot have an embodied enlightenment without emotional maturity. So, this is my invitation to you to grieve the depths of loss and your personal losses, our losses as a society, our losses as humanity. And when we do, we can really emerge from that and say, okay, all of that has been lost, but it's made space for a lot of new things. So, how can we rebuild in a way that is smarter, more sustainable, more aligned with the truth of who we are, and create more beauty in our inner and outer landscapes?